I'm looking at the car and the cyclist on my right, covering my brakes.
On Your Bike, in association with Safer Roads Humber, taking cycle safety seriously.
Welcome to On Your Bike, where my cycling jaunt across East Yorkshire and northern Lincolnshire has gone full circle. I'm back in and around Beverley. This time I'm learning all about what's on offer for the professional cyclists out there. From an advanced cycling group to a specialist bike manufacturer, it all happens right here in the heart of East Yorkshire. But first, for the purposes of this series, and to make sure I was confident on my bike, I undertook a test so I could cycle around the region with ease. Bikeability is cycling proficiency for the 21st century. Implemented by East Riding of Yorkshire Council, it gives cycle users the skills and confidence to cycle safely in and around today's modern roads and environment. I undertook the Level 3 exam, which I successfully passed and was awarded a certificate and a very nice badge in honour of my achievements. Led by a team of trained cycle trainers, it's been introduced so that cycling can be an enjoyable everyday activity and a way to keep healthy. The lovely Julie Turner was my instructor for the day, and I'm meeting up with her again today on Beverley's beautiful Westwood. Julie! Lovely to see you again.
And you too, Luke.
Thank you for coming to meet me.
Yep.
Bikeability, cycling proficiency for the 21st century. Why is the scheme so important?
Yeah, indeed, for the 21st century, it is really, really important. We need to make sure that anybody who's cycling on our roads are fully, qualified to use the roads, completely understand all the rules and regulations, all the rights of way and priorities. And the best way to do that is to actually teach children in the primary school. We go through year 5 and year 6 to give them all. It's a life skill that they need to actually carry them through. And then eventually they'll be drivers as well. So it's a really good introduction into what goes on the road. It's part of their lifestyle. It's not just teaching the rules and regulations of the road, it actually also is part of their health and well-being too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And you say primary school children
Yep.
specifically take part in this course, but
Yes.
it's also available to adults as well, isn't it?
It's available to anybody, yes, yeah. I mean, I've even taught people who've been in their 40s, 50s and 60s through...
60s?
60s indeed, yes. Yeah, teaching them bikeability, the level 1, 2 and 3. There are 3 different levels with bikeability, so you might... only a few weeks ago, I had a lady who'd never, ever been on her bike. She was in her 60s and we got going very, very slowly, but now she's actually cycling, and she'd never been on a bike. She was too frightened, but now she's absolutely fine.
So rewarding for the participants.
Absolutely.
And obviously
yes.
yourself
yes.
as well.
Absolutely, yes, to see somebody like that who's not been. And she wanted to go on holiday with her husband, and they thought, oh look, everybody's cycling. I can't cycle. I need to cycle. And so they got in touch with the with the sort of relevant council, and there we go.
And cyclists aren't always given due care and attention, are they?
No, they're not. They're not always given enough room. That's why now, through Bikeability, we do teach cycling in a secondary position, which is slightly closer to the curb to let the traffic go past. And we also teach now a primary position when you need to just take control if you're passing a vehicle or you need to turn off onto another road. So you're putting your bicycle in the position where you are much more visible, but where you can just maybe for a short period of time keep the traffic behind you. But you never know what motorists are going to do.
Can't predict.
Some motorists are really good, allow you plenty of space. Some cyclists maybe don't sort of give way enough to motorists as well. So it's a two-way thing, really.
Time for me to enjoy a spot of cycling now as I visit Baldwin Titanium, a company who are passionate about bringing high-quality biking back to the UK. The team specialise in building high-end, custom-fitted titanium bicycle frames to customers' specific requirements. The genius behind the firm is Richard Baldwin, who makes the bikes, all from his workshop at his home in Beverley. Richard, Baldwin Titanium Cycles, building bikes from your lovely little workshop here.
That's me.
How long has the company been set up, and what was your reasons behind setting up Baldwin Titanium Cycles?
Well, we've been set up for about 2.5 years, but we started trading in early January 2014, and the reason behind setting the business up was I wanted to move into a career making something that I was absolutely passionate about. I've loved bikes for a number of years, serviced and tinkered all my old bikes and what have you. And frame building for me was an exciting challenge, and it has been a challenge as I've no doubt found out. But also part of the reasoning for setting up the business is I've got 3 kids, and I wanted to give them options sort of 10 years down the line when they're looking to start work or go to university as to join a family business if that's what they want to do.
How's business going so far?
Very good, yeah, can't complain at all. We're averaging about one every 6 to 8 weeks, a bike every 6 to 8 weeks, so it's not massive volumes, but we're not after massive volumes, we're after a certain customer set that knows what they want, and they sort of hunt us out without us having to do too much chasing, really.
Cottage industry, so the bikes are made to order specifically to the customer's needs.
Correct.
What is the process involved with that?
Well, as you say, it's a made-to-order basis. We don't have a small, medium, large frame based on an average customer's size and geometry. We basically the process is we go through a fitting session with each customer first to get their ideal bike fit. For us, it's all about custom fit and having something that's special and built for you. And that's part of the journey of owning a great bike.
Absolutely, well, and they look very great, and they're as light as a feather.
Thank you, yeah.
Managed to pick one up with ease.
Yeah, well, titanium is known for its, one of the properties of titanium is it's a light material, so it does compare well to other materials.
So why titanium, Richard?
Well, part of the reason for liking titanium so much is I'm a Yorkshireman and I'm quite tight, so I like to have one bike that does everything. So, and titanium's known for the fact that it doesn't rust, rot or corrode, so you can ride it in. I mean, my main bike I ride through the winter and the summer. I have a summer bike as well because it's got a different set of wheels on it. The main bike that I use goes through all the weather conditions, and it's holding up really well, so I'm happy. So
it's a durable component, titanium?
Correct, yeah. But also, as we mentioned earlier, it's lighter than steel. It's half the weight of steel, just as strong, if not stronger than steel. On a technical level, the elongation properties of titanium mean that it will go further before it breaks, so you'll be able to bend or stress that material more before it will give, as opposed to carbon, steel, aluminium.
Okay. Richard, thank you very much for letting me come along to your workshop, and I wish you all the best with your business.
Thanks very much, Luke. Nice to meet you.
Richard's bikes may appeal to certain members of Patois Ria Road Team, which is a fresh new club based in East Yorkshire. The club was formed in early 2014, aiming to promote cycling within the local region. The team has grown considerably since then, from an initial group of 4 members. They're now competing in road races, time trials, and have a strong presence in the local sportive scene. In their first year alone, the group achieved considerable success with just 2 active riders in road race, both taking top 10 places in British cycling and league international events. The group welcomes new members of all ages and abilities to join them for a ride. Barry Warren is a key member of the group. Barry, thank you very much for letting me come out for a ride with you this evening.
No problem.
I'm certainly not as fit as you and your members behind me. The name of the club, first of all, tell me how you pronounce it.
It's Patois Ria.
Patois Ria.
Yes, so it's named after the Roman village that was Brough. So something a little bit unusual, but certainly stands out in the teams around here.
And that's where the name comes from?
Yeah, we based the team in the village and sort of thought it would be quite nice to have something that represented the past and the history.
Because you're a fairly recent club, I believe.
Yeah, we set up about 18 months ago, myself and a number of the guys behind, really just sort of all local based, and just wanted to have a cycling team this side of the city.
Because I believe originally when you first started there was only a handful of members, wasn't there?
Yeah, we started off with just 3 of us, and it was sort of myself and a couple of guys from down the road. Had all cycled before and had sort of stopped for families and everything else, and just sort of met up riding, and it went from there. So and then with the Tour, the Tour de France coming through, we did a sort of a little bit of promotion, and we grew to sort of 25 or so members now.
How do you and your members ensure that you cycle safely when out on one of your routes?
It's all about talking to each other. So we'll normally ride side by side. We'll point out potholes and the divots in the road so that the riders behind aren't going to come across something and cause an accident behind. We'll talk and shout for cars. So if there's somebody coming or somebody behind, then we'll single out. So we'll be as conscientious as we can be, but for us it's about being safe together, and I think generally, if you ask any of the guys, they're going to say they enjoy it, otherwise they wouldn't be doing it.
And it's a good social thing as well, isn't it? And a good community thing as well, because there's lots of cycling groups and clubs out there now.
Yeah, there's certainly more and more, and I think since the Tour de France came through, there's a lot more cyclists on the road, and you go to local sportifs, there's 600-700 riders in some of them, so it's certainly a growing sport, and the shops, there's certainly more shops, and the shops that are there are prospering, so it's generally a really good environment at the moment.
So what do you think's made it popular then? Would you say because there's been an increase in these events? And
yeah, and I think the awareness and the accessibility. I think people are saying that cycling is the new golf,
yes.
And there's a lot of us older guys that are coming back to it. So I think there's a lot of things that have sort of sparked it. The whole fitness element, but also the accessibility to organised events is there, and people are getting out on the roads more.
The rain, the sleet, the fog and snow, oh, I wouldn't change a single thing.
On Your Bike, in association with Safer Roads Humber, taking road safety seriously.